Well, hello everybody. We're trying a new thing here at Blueprint HQ. We're going to interview some of my long-time friends from the accounting industry and people who I really have worked with previously and have some great ideas. I think at this time it is super important that as an industry we get together and really take on some of the ideas and have lots of conversations around what's going on right now. I think that this is such a fantastic opportunity for the accounting industry to really implement some of the changes that we've had to make. I've been working on changing and doing stuff over the last 15 years now, and I think that this is a great opportunity for us to really start implementing some of that stuff that we wanted to. I'm so pleased to have Bruce Coombes with me today. I've known Bruce, I'm going to say a decade or so now. I've used his company QuickFee in a couple of my businesses now, and I really think that it's one of the best funding on the market, but also I think it offers a really good solution to some of the issues that we're going to have coming on. So Bruce, thank you so much for joining me. I know that you and I share a lot of similar thoughts on what's going on at the moment. Can you give us a quick sort of summary of what you think is going on and how we might be able to help the accounting industry meet these challenges that we've got?
Absolutely, Sam. It's a delight to be here. Great to be chatting to you, as it always is. I think we all know Winston Churchill said it, and he, in my view, he was absolutely right. Don't waste a good crisis. And we're here right now. Our industry, our profession, is right at the crossroads of helping clients right now. And back in a previous life, a life probably just 4 weeks ago, Sam, when we were all allowed to fly, anybody who heard a safety demonstration would have known they said, fit your oxygen mask before you try to help others. And I think it's very important for our profession to be looking after ourselves so we are there for the long term to pay our staff and look after our clients, not just today, but long term.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that I so agree with that. And talking to a lot of accounting firms over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I don't think we're getting our oxygen masks on fast enough. And I think that that's super important for us to do. It's so important for the SME market, for the accounting businesses to stay strong through this so we can support them. 90% of SMEs have a tax agent and there's no other set of advisors that can do this. So we are absolutely important to help the economy going through this, but we have to make sure that our own businesses are safe. So the two things I really want to hone down on, because I don't think going forward anyone debates that there's going to be a revenue issue or a pricing or value issue. The issue is how do we help our clients pay for our services, and also how do we actually look at and I'd like to do this first, perhaps the debtors that we have coming in. If we haven't really managed our debtors as well as we would have liked to coming in, and we do have debtors on the books, what are some of the options that we might be able to do? Because it's important for us to really hone that down and make sure that the cash coming in, because there's not going to come in as it used to in the regular basis that it used to.
Oh, so absolutely right, Jen. Look, if you did a survey and you looked at the average day sales outstanding, the average debtors days number of every SME in Australia, the answer would probably be about 45. That excludes like retailers who don't have debtors across all SMEs. You then take it and say, I just want to do accountants. The answer is 60 days. If you then say, I just want to do lawyers, the answer is 88 days. So the data tells us that people have not been in a mad rush to pay their accountant at the best of times. And then certainly not going to accelerate it now. And, unashamedly, that's what our business has been doing for the last 10 years. KPMG is our largest client, and we go right down to 1-2 partner firms. The point is that if you've got debtors today, people are not thinking, the first thing I've got to do with the limited amount of money I've got is pay my accountant. You've got to be offering a fee funding solution. You've got to be offering a quick fee payment plan so people can pay you, so you can keep providing the advice that you and your team are giving, which is vital for these SMEs. If they haven't paid you, you've got to put them on a payment plan now. Secondly, looking out. Most accounting firms probably won't qualify for JobKeeper. Many of their clients will. So you've got to help those clients get JobKeeper. You've got to help them do financials. You've got to get some data in front of their banks. You've got to see what's needed in terms of a deferral. Is a 6-month deferral of their payments even enough to get through this, to get out the other side and be in good standing with their senior lenders? What's going to happen with their landlord? What's happening on their investment properties? All of these things need tailored, thought-through solutions at a time when clients are saying, I really haven't got the cash. I have the need. I absolutely need the advice, in the words of the client, but they haven't got the cash. And again, if you're using fixed pricing, upfront pricing, you can say to the client right there and then, this is the price of this package and this is how you pay for it. You put it on your card, you can pay me right now, or you can take a quick fee payment plan. Yep. Our business has increased at this time, Sam, because people need this solution so they can get the advice they need.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And I think there has to be some fundamental conversation changes. And I think one of the reasons we've always blocked on that is because we're not sure how to frame the conversation. And it's not a conversation that we've had before. So we're trying, we work really hard on getting people comfortable in that conversation so then they can actually give the options that you talked about. And I think if we don't get this piece right, we're going to, as generally be in trouble going forward. Also, just to pitch back to the fixed fees and actually having structure around going forward in these uncertain times, having certainty on what this is actually going to cost people is going to be so valuable, because it's, certainty in a time of uncertainty is super important. And then to give the payment options as well, because also if they can't come up with any of the payment options too, we need to know that and then find out different solutions for them, perhaps as in, information giving or frameworks around that. So we're not saying don't help your clients, but, we really need to get this right, because as an industry going forward, I'm excited because I think that this might actually have a propensity to change that we were otherwise lacking. And then we might actually start valuing what we do and having these upfront conversations, because I found in the past, and certainly when I started having these upfront conversations, I don't know if you remember, but sort of 10 years ago when we were framing up the conversations around advisor, and I was terrified, and having that first conversation of exactly what you had. And the only person who really blocked on it was me. The clients were happy with it because they were used to having those conversations with other suppliers. Lawyers, I was surprised at the lawyer stat that you gave us, because certainly at the moment I'm finding we're getting clients engaged in a lot of IR work and stuff like that. All the lawyers are going up front, going bang. I thought that they always did that. So I was surprised at the 88 days with lawyers. But
yeah, it is interesting. There are some firms, law firms, that are extremely good at it, just like there are some accounting firms. Like some of the stuff that you've done at Blueprint HQ, Sam, where you are enabling them to have the conversation, that's the key. These conversations are not hard. They're, like you say, one of the great hurdles is it's just your own fear. Most sellers of something, whether it's a product or a service, are more scared of the price than the buyer is.
Oh, absolutely.
So once you convince yourself, the way Blueprint helps people know how to position something, whether it's a conversation about, hey, I need my invoice paid, or it's a conversation about, here's the value I'm about to deliver, and look at the price, it's lower than the value I'm delivering. Either way, it's just practice in the mirror while you're getting ready for work. Then when you walk from the bedroom to the office, as we now do in our new work from home environments, you're ready to go. Pick up the phone. That's one of the other great things. Don't waste Alexander Graham Bell's invention. He invented the thing for a reason. Use it. Have a dialogue, not an email.
Yeah. Well, when I had to learn that terrible thing called sales, years ago, when pointed out to me one of the reasons I wasn't successful with my advisory products is because I didn't know how to sell, and I went, oh my goodness, no, was that the best salespeople's phones are broken because they've used it. I think this is a great opportunity. I also think for accountants right now, we are maybe the only people that people can speak safely to about, to say, hey, how are you going? We're here to help. I understand that you're in trouble. We have, have some solutions to you. But we are finding that conversation about just checking in to find out how people are is super important right now, because they can't have that with their employees. They might not necessarily have their partners, and we are people that they will talk to regularly. So it's such an important part. And then it's such an important part to give them safety around how, I find that most people do want to pay our bills, but if we don't ask them to, they're not going to, because that behaviour is not going to change with COVID or, previously as well. So yeah, it's such a great time, I think, and I think to bring out some of the products that we're talking about. Okay, so just to end off, your tips over the next 30 days for accountants going
don't
forward?
waste a good. Okay, I'll give you 3 or 4 tips. Right, don't waste a good crisis. Number 2, you do not have the bandwidth to have the same one-on-one conversation with every client. So if a lot of JobKeeper, just picking on that as an example, is the same, run a webinar, get your clients to join it, tell them the things that are common to every business owner in Australia, and then if they need something as a specific bespoke, price it up front, whether you use a QuickFee payment plan or they just pay you up front, get the money, give the bespoke advice. You do not have the time, you do not have the desire to destroy your health having the same conversation over and over, thinking you're busy and thinking you're helping. Just do the one-to-manys to isolate the one-to-ones. I suppose in a way, you're almost triaging your clients on a Zoom call in a way. The last thing, if you're not charging your clients, psychologically, you won't be doing your best work. And we all know the most expensive thing you can buy, Sam, is cheap advice.
That is so true. That is so true. And I've got many personal stories that I can get for.
Yep. It's not mercenary to be paid to help, okay? A heart surgeon does amazing work but still gets paid. And yeah, the client was at a time of crisis, right? It is nothing wrong with all the years of study and sacrifice that most accountants have made, and often their families have made, to get to the point where you have 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, whatever it is of experience. Don't give it away. Get paid for the hard work you've done.
And I think that's really important, going forward, because this is such a great opportunity for our industry just to say how really important we are. And we are super important. Yep. We were important coming into this, but I think this will hopefully give us the voice and the confidence, whatever it needs to be, is that say, hey, accountants, particularly tax accountants we're talking about right now, are going to get us through this. And this is such an important time. That was great advice. And I particularly like the middle one. I bet no one expected to have that, on how you should actually frame this up. And it is so important. We have got to get this information out to as many people as we can in the most cost-effective way that we can, and we need to be paid for it. And we also need to be paid for the work that we've done previously, with the debtors report. And it is about having conversation, and the only people blocking on our conversation really is us, because I understand the fear, because I've been there myself, but I understand how important it is, and our clients really appreciate it. So thank you, Bruce, so much. It's always a pleasure. We'll continue on forward and helping out the accounting industry, which is so important to both of our hearts.
Thanks, Sam. Always a pleasure. Thank you.